Warm, savory, succulent, juicy pastrami on toasted rye bread with spicy mustard and tongue-tingling peppercorn. Oy vey. Must I go to Carnegie Deli in New York City for this delicacy? I love this blend of unique tastes, just like Tallahassee is a wonderful blend of people and religions. Still, since there are so few Jews in Tallahassee, I feel people misunderstand my traditions, holidays, or the foods I eat. There is everyday Jewish food like kosher hot dogs, and there is holiday food. I celebrate a holiday every Friday at sundown called Shabbat. We eat a golden crusted egg bread that we usually buy at Publix. The baker pronounces the bread as challah. I say, no, say it like you're a cat with a hairball in your throat. Challah. On Passover, you will see me eating PB&J on matzah, a cracker that is about as delicious as, cardboard? During Passover, I am forbidden from eating flour products since bread was baked on the Jews' backs when they were escaping from Egypt. Most Jewish holidays I can attend school. However, 2 days a year, on Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, and Yom Kippur, a day of forgiveness, I am forbidden from working or attending school. While I get an excused absence, I still must make up missed work and tests. Now take a second and think about Christmas. We get a 10-day break off for Christmas, and we don't even get 1 day off for the holiest Jewish holidays? Don't get me wrong, I love Christmas. I even have a white Hanukkah bush to celebrate. And yes, sometimes Hanukkah falls during Christmas break, but it is not a religious holiday, nor is it a Jewish Christmas. So, okay, I haven't found a decent pastrami sandwich here until our small Jewish community worked together to hold the annual Jewish Food Festival. We celebrate holidays very similar to other faiths. We dress nicely, go to worship services, and afterwards, we eat and celebrate. We all have our own special foods and traditions. Can't we learn to respect each other and appreciate our differences? That's what being Jewish in Tallahassee has taught me. Shalom. Peace, y'all.
Stay thirsty, my friends. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Power. Where's the beef? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it. Oh, hi there. Can you recall any of those commercials? I'm sure some of you can, because commercials can affect your train of thought. Not all ways of advertising are as effective as television commercials. For example, billboards. Now, imagine one of your most favorite products in the world. If you see it on television, it may make you more excited than if you see it on a billboard. Still wondering about the power of commercials? Listen to this. South Beach Diet released a commercial for a sugar-free diet drink. When the nutritionist came out on the commercial, he started talking about orange juice and how bad it can be for you because of all the sugar it contains. As South Beach Diet grew more famous, orange juice sales plummeted, all because of one commercial. The average American spends at least 10 hours a week in front of the TV. That gives people lots of exposure to commercials. On Saturday mornings alone, there are over 200 junk food commercials. According to the social impact of commercials, by the time the average American student graduates from college, he or she will have watched over 360,000 commercials. This will triple by the age 65. Whether it's being spooked by a scary movie commercial or giving a donation to a lost puppy fund, they all affected the way they thought. As you can see, commercials have a huge impact on the world today. So the next time you see a commercial, think of how it'll affect the way you think. And remember, my bologna has a first name, it's O-S-C-A-R, sing along. My bologna has a second name, it's M-A-Y-E-R. Oh, I love to eat it every day, and if you ask me why, I'll say, 'cause Oscar Mayer has a way with B-O-L-O-G-N-A.
Have you ever wondered what life is like outside of the United States? Have you ever wondered what it'd be like to climb the Great Wall of China, eat delicious truffles in Brussels, walk on glaciers in the parks in Canada, see windmills in Holland, or breathe the tropical air in the Caribbean? Traveling to another country is super fun. I'm a big fan of traveling to foreign countries and would like to share with you the reasons that I think you should take the opportunity to travel to another country. Traveling to another country is a great way to learn new things. If you learn new things, then you become more informed about people and places around you. It's not like reading a book or seeing a movie. When you travel to another country, you see it for yourself, how people live and meet new people. You also learn to appreciate their amazing cultures and traditions. You can also learn the history of the country, learn about their artifacts and how people lived in the past. You may also try to learn and speak a new language. Learning a new language helps you try to communicate with other people. You can also try new and different foods. Some might taste amazing and wonderful and it goes down your throat, like chocolates from Belgium or pork pot stickers made in China. Some foods might not be very tasty, like salted cod from Norway. Some foods that we have in the United States taste different in another country, such as real tacos made in Mexico. The opportunity to try foods in another country exposes you to new and different tastes. Traveling to another country can be an adventure shared with your family. It is a chance to try things that you would not do in the United States, like whitewater rafting in Canada, swimming in a cenote in Mexico, and snorkeling with leatherback turtles over a shipwreck in Barbados. It is also a chance to see new sites like palaces in Denmark or Korea, and to visit museums. It is also a fun challenge to try and get around without knowing the language and being able to read signs. Traveling to another country is special because you are collecting memories and having fun with your family. Based on my personal travel experiences, I've given you several reasons why I think that traveling to another country is so much fun. I hope that you take every opportunity to travel and have many wonderful adventures like I have had.
There she is! Get her! I searched frantically for a place to hide. A tree? A hole? There has to be somewhere to conceal myself. The hunters were in fast pursuit, chasing me through the vast forest. At last, a cavern. I squeezed myself through the tiny opening and sat curled up in a huge ball for quite some time until they passed. Ever since I was little, I've been searched for, hunted, and feared by people all over the world. Yeah, I'm a Sasquatch, or better known as Bigfoot. Not exactly what you thought Bigfoot would look like, huh? People usually picture me as a 10-foot-tall giant with sharp teeth that could rip a human right in half. But the truth is, I'm a cute, cuddly being that happens to be, how should I put this? Misunderstood. Let me set a few things straight, starting with myths. Myth 1. Bigfoot is evil. No, I'm not evil. As a matter of fact, I'm one of the most admired animals among the other forest animals, which leads to myth 2. I eat human and other animal meat. I happen to be a vegetarian. And myth 3. Bigfoot is real. Well, this one is obviously true. I'm talking to you right now, aren't I? I'm always being run over. In fact, about a week ago, I was crossing the road and a car came hurtling down the street and ran right into me. I picked myself off the road and limped away. But being run over is the least of my worries. The hunters are by far the worst. They always set up cameras and traps with me. Again, I'm a vegetarian. Not exactly the wisest move. They usually only catch a fox or a small bear, depending on the season or weather condition. About a year ago, they caught a mama bear and her 2 cubs, all at the same time. The net they were counted snapped, and that was the last I saw of that search squad. The hunters invading my habitat are destroying it bush by bush, tree by tree, day by day. My environment is being destroyed, but there are small things you can do around your home to protect your environment, like recycling or saving electricity. If you choose to take care of the environment will take care of you. Can you keep a secret? The truth is, I don't want the world to know I exist. That's why I haven't been spotted before. Well, except for today. If the rest of the world didn't know I existed, I would never be left alone, and my life would be harder than it already is. You can help me by coming up with some ways that you can protect the environment, like cleaning up trash around the school or the community, or volunteering at the wildlife refuge. There are so many different choices. Sorry, gotta go. I think I hear hunters coming.
Hey, nerd. Yeah, you. You're a weirdo. Those are insults that bullies use to be mean. Everyone has heard that before, whether a bystander, a victim, or the bully. Why do people bully? They bully people because someone has done it to them before. Sometimes people bully to get others in trouble. The bully attacks, the victim tries to get even, and the bully tells. It stings like dirty socks when that happens, since you did that to protect yourself. Trust me, I've been bullied a lot of times. But with the right tools, you can change a sob story into a happy ending. First off, you need to stand up for yourself. Never, ever, under any circumstances, let the bully win. It makes them think that they have complete control over you, which is not true, unless you give in. One way to stand up for yourself is to walk away. That lets the bully know that you don't care. 99.9% of the time, they will leave you alone. 0.1% of the time, it won't work. They will sense that they bother you and keep bullying you. Have you ever heard of cyberbullying? What is cyberbullying, you say? It is the act of harassing someone online by sending or posting mean messages, usually anonymously or with no name. People who cyberbully usually forget that on the other side of the computer, iPod, iPad, or phone is someone with feelings that can be hurt. Trust me, I don't want a Facebook page until I'm like 14, but only for one reason. I have feelings. Mean people can post hurtful things on social networks. Words are permanent, and if you post a mean thought on the internet, it stays there forever. In conclusion, bullies are hurtful, and it never helps to be one. Sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That is not true. Words do hurt. So, bullying, is that really what you want to do?
For generations, my family has passed down the story of who the most important founding father of our country is. This man's name is Richard Henry Lee. He is my first cousin, 10 times removed, and he did many great things to found our country. Richard made the famous motion to declare independence from Great Britain, which led to the Declaration of Independence. And most people don't know that he also proposed the first law in America to abolish the slave trade. These historic facts are not always taught in school, but they are true. And as you learn about him, I think you will be convinced that no one deserves more credit for the founding of the United States. In 1764, Richard Henry Lee and his friend Samuel Adams formed a group called the Committees of Correspondence. The Committees of Correspondence was a group of patriots who wrote letters to each other, sharing information to start the Revolutionary War. The patriots were spread out all over the 13 colonies and soon decided to meet in person. By doing so, the colonists created the Continental Congress. On June 7, 1776, Richard Henry Lee stood before the Continental Congress and made the famous motion declaring independence from England. After Congress adopted the motion, Lee found that his wife had become very ill. As a loyal husband, he went home to Virginia to see her and comfort her. This delay led to him not being able to write the Declaration of Independence that he had proposed. The only reason Thomas Jefferson wrote it was because it had been passed on to him from Richard Henry Lee. George Washington was given much of the credit for bringing the 13 colonies into independence. But there is much more to the story. During the Revolutionary War, Richard Henry Lee worked behind the scenes with his brothers to supply the army and get support from France. 1 year after we won the war, Lee was elected president of our country. This was 5 years before George Washington became president, after the new Constitution was adopted. As you can see, Richard Henry Lee played a very important role in forming our country. I believe that in American history, no one could have done a better job in his position. He was brave and courageous throughout his entire life and carried the American dream with him always. I recommend you to be very careful in studying history, for you may find something new.
Recently, I was having the best weekend ever. I unlocked a new character in my computer game. I designed the biggest hotel ever in my Xbox game, and there was a marathon of my favorite TV show. It was probably about 7 hours of TV, 4 hours of the computer, and about 2 or 3 hours of the Xbox. And then, for no reason at all, my mom barged in and complained, "Cole, you've been spending too much time in front of screens. I want you to have a break." She then gave me the most brutal punishment ever. My mom took away all screens. I thought about it for a while, and I figured something out. I have an obsession with screens. I call it screenitis. And it turns out my whole family has the illness of obsession. Maybe not to screens, but to other things. For example, every Sunday, my dad needs both the TV and his computer to keep up with his fantasy football scores. I call his obsession fantasy footballosis. My 17-year-old brother is obsessed with his cell phone. He never puts his phone down. At dinner, at night, in the bathroom, and if he could make a waterproof cell phone, he would bring his cell phone into the shower. I call this obsession textotypo-twitterotitis. My sister doesn't tweet or watch football. She just sings Broadway tunes over and over and over until your head explodes. And before long, we all end up with the song stuck in our heads. I call her obsession too much singing-nosis. Warning, very contagious. My mom has many obsessions, but the worst is her obsessions with chocolate, especially around Halloween. When we're asleep, my mom gets into our candy, looking for Almond Joys, Reese's, and anything with chocolate in it. I call her obsession chocoholiction. So maybe my family does have more obsessions than the average family. But maybe screenitis, too much singing-nosis, and textotypo-twitterotitis makes us unique. Wouldn't we be boring without those little quirks? I would love to sit here and chat, but I'm almost at the next level in my game. Me and my screens are due for a little one-on-one time.
Recently, there have been many technical breakthroughs that have helped companies become more efficient at maximizing their profits. The cell phone, for instance, allows workers on the road to communicate with home office and change travel plans in an instant. Well, if Fortune 500 companies can use cell phones to help them beat the competition, shouldn't kids do the same? The answer is yes, and let me tell you how he did it. First of all, what's the best day of the year for a kid? Christmas, birthday? Those are great, but every fun present is matched by a pair of pajamas from your grandmother, or a book about science from your uncle. No, the best day of the year for kids is Halloween, October 31st, the holy grail of all handout programs. And what's the mission of every kid on Halloween? To maximize efficiency, of course. And that means one thing, getting as many pounds of sugary goodness as you can possibly carry. And this is where the invention of the cell phone has made trick-or-treating like shooting fish in a barrel. Think of it like you would fishing. In the old days, you could float your boat all over the ocean and only end up with a few little bait fish. That's the same as walking the whole neighborhood and only getting an apple, some candy corn, and a pack of Whoppers. Yuck! When were malted milk balls ever considered good? 1950? So just like the fishermen invented the radar to help find the big groupers, we used our cell phones to help find the biggest prize of them all. The queen mother of all candied heaven. The quarter pound, 540-calorie, nougat-filled, king-size Snickers bar. Every year there's at least one house giving them out. So the mission for us was to find that honey hole and then use our cell phones to let each other know where it was. But that was only step 1 in maximizing efficiency. Step 2 is developing a strategy for repeat business, since fortunately there's no federal limit on the number of Snickers you can bag. The key element is the white sheet with 2 holes in it. First hit to the door, here it goes. Boom, that's one in the bag. Walk around the side of the house, take off the sheet, and underneath, you wearing your Friday the 13th talking mask. Back to the door, boom, that's 2 in 2 minutes. Back around the side of the house, take off the mask, and tie a bandana around your head, and arrgh, now you've got 3 pieces of treasure. Next time around, you strip down to your FSU baseball shirt and cap and hit a grand slam with that 4th big bar. But wait, why waste that perfectly good white sheet? Take off your shirt, wrap that baby around you, and toga. That's 5 king-size Snickers bars in 5 minutes. But why stop there? Stoop all the way down to your Speedo shorts, put on a pair of goggles, and boom, Michael Phelps gets his 6th gold in record time. So when you think of all the ways that technology has helped our country succeed, be sure to remember 2 things. 1, we kids are smarter than you think. And 2, you're going to need a lot more Snickers next year.